Hi, everyone. This is Clayton Taylor, Customer Success Coach from Now On. In today's video, we're going to be covering troubleshooting stat issues on the fly and being able to address a case where maybe stats aren't coming into the app as expected. What I have open on my screen here is my phone screen, the app, and then also the backend portal. We're going to kind of look at both of these simultaneously to diagnose what's going on. So for a live game, in the app, what we would expect to see is this stats tab populating with the stats for the game. So in this case, what the back end looks like, stats are working fine in the app. The back end is going to end up looking like something like this, where we've got green completed status, files are coming in and attaching properly. You might see an occasional file that's failing. Typically, that means that the file that came in is the exact same as the previous one that came in. So we just didn't attach it. But other than that, you should be seeing a lot of green files, and then again, maybe with a few failed files mixed in. So this is, again, what we're expecting to see on the back end. Now in the app, for a game that maybe we're expecting stats for, but nothing's coming in, that stats tab is not populating on the event info page. This is when we know that there's something going wrong and we need to go address what's happening. So in order to address that, where you navigate to is in the top nav bar under imports, you're going to go to view import history. And that will bring up that same view that we were just on. And in this case, there's a couple of things that you might see in here if stats aren't working. The first is a screen like this where just nothing is landing on our From Now On servers. So no files are coming in. So if that's the case, there's a couple of things we recommend checking. One is let's make sure that your stat computer is up and running. Make sure that our FTP credentials are added to the system. It's turned on as a destination. It might take restarting the stat machine to start to get files to come in here. But kind of the bottom line is if we're trying to troubleshoot something and we don't see anything getting to us, we know something's wrong on the stat computer and maybe a password's incorrect. Something's not turned on. You need to restart the connection, something like that. The other case that you might see is a whole bunch of red files or failing files. So that means the stat computer set up correctly, files are getting to us. It's just for some reason, they're not attaching to the game properly. So the things to check in this case would be, hey, let's make sure that the game time on the From Now On portal matches the actual game time that's coming in from the files. So this might be common with like rainouts. If a game gets delayed by 3 hours, our system might be blocking files because we're saying, hey, we don't know that this is the right game because our game times don't match up. Another case that you might see is, in this case, actually, we can't find a team ID to match to the provider that we're seeing in the file. So what you can do in this case, it's pretty straightforward. You can look at the XML file. And what we want to check is that the ID that we have for our team in here, so it's JSU, we want to make sure that we have that team ID added to the team on the portal. So, in our hypothetical example here, JSU, we can come into our portal, check the team. And we'll just say this is a baseball game, hypothetically. And what we want to do is make sure that under this stat providers section, we have that JSU ID added. So I'm going to say stat crew and JSU, and then hit save. And once I've made that change, when I revisit the import history, I should start to see those green files come in. We'll stop getting this error, and stats will start to attach properly. So that's a pretty common one that we'll see if for some reason something's not set up correctly. Just come in here, check out what the error is saying, and either adjust the game time or adjust the team ID to have stats start to fire back up. A couple other things that I'll mention. Let's say you've done all those things. You've checked the game time, checked the IDs, everything looks right. If stats are still failing, that's the time to reach out to our support line. That gets delivered right to our on-call team, where they're going to be able to look into the issue a little bit more and see what might be going on. And I'll say the same thing about if you're not seeing files at all and you think that everything is set up on your guys' end, this is another case to reach out to our support line. We can look into it a little bit deeper to see if there's something on our end that might be causing files not to land in our system. So I'll make sure to include the P1 support line in the description of this video. I'd always recommend saving that to your phone just so you have an easy way to contact us on the fly. But those are kind of the basic issues that you might run into if, again, stats aren't showing up on this screen in the app and you're expecting them to.